Hello! Welcome to a very special episode of Strong Sense of Place. Today we are going to tell you about a project that we have been working on for months.
Seriously, I think we've done more work on this than we did on our wedding.
I am fairly certain that's true, yeah.
And our wedding was really important to me, so put that in context.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Next October, we are taking over a manor house in Wales. We're kicking everybody out, and it's going to be ours. And we're hosting a Reader's Weekend, and you are cordially invited. Now, it's going to take us a little while to unpack all of this. There's a lot to talk about. It's a loaded weekend with many, many details, but let's just zip over some of the highlights, and then we'll circle back.
For starters, we're staying in a gorgeous house. It's a historic Georgian mansion just on the border of Wales, on a huge plot of land with rolling green hills and sheep and horses. It is the manor house of my dreams.
Yeah, there's been a house on that land for at least 1,000 years. But the house we are going to be in has only been around for the last 300 years or so. It was purchased by a music impresario and his wife about 25 years ago.
Also, they are adorably named Louis and Louise Parker.
Yeah.
Louise showed us around when we went to visit, which was a delight. She is charming. I hope she's going to pop in when we're there to say hello. She has done just a fantastic job of making this house a really charming mix of old and new. So the bones and the architecture are definitely Georgian and Victorian. There's a room that looks like it's straight out of the Middle Ages. The
exterior of the house looks like what you would think of if you dreamed of a manor house. Like it's got just the right shape and size, and it's just lovely.
But on the inside, Louise has brought some of her rock and roll attitude to the decor. So it's a really tastefully done, eclectic mix of stuff. When you're walking up the stairs to the second and third floor, there are family photos lining the walls. There are vintage arcade games and a 1950s jukebox and framed gold records on the wall, that kind of thing.
It's maybe got a little Tim Burton leaning vibe to it.
Tim Burton meets Jane Eyre, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. The house is called Trevor Hall. It's a 10-bedroom house, so it's a little intimate for a manor house. We wanted this weekend to feel like you're getting together with your friends from all over the globe for a lovely weekend in the country.
So, we've got the setting.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yep.
What are we going to be doing in this Georgian house?
Okay. So, we are going to take the old idea of a weekend at a country house and marry it together with some new elements. So like they might have done 200 years ago, we're going to talk about books.
Of course, we're going to talk about books.
Yep. As a group, we're going to agree on a book to read before we get there, something manor house leaning, and then we'll have a book club on Saturday afternoon. Strong sense of place.
There's also a long-standing tradition of breaking up a country house weekend by eating.
Yes.
So we are going to have delicious meals served at a very long oak table in the Great Hall.
Yeah. We are going to play parlor games, some of them old, some of them new. Mel's a big fan of the Minister's Cat, which is ancient. I like a more modern game. We'll be mixing those together.
We'll also be taking walks in the rolling hills around the house and through the woods. And there will be storytelling by candlelight.
On Saturday night, we are going to bring in a magician from London. He caught our eye because he's got an act that's sort of seance-ish. It's a little spooky, not scary, but definitely spooky. His name is Trevor Hall, and he will be coming in to do some parlor magic for us. We are also going to bring in some elements from the current day. So, for instance, we want to have a few Zoom events before we get to the house so everybody knows everybody else before we cross the threshold. We're going to build a little online community that hopefully blossoms in real life. Now, have we told you all of the fabulous details yet?
We have not.
No.
There's more.
So, for instance, there's a whole city we haven't told you about yet.
So let's all take a breath, and we're going to circle back and go through the weekend day by day.
Things start on Thursday night in Manchester, England. We are going to take over a pub. We will have a drink together, and then we'll spend the night there. That pub is part of a boutique hotel. It's called the Abel Haywood. The hotel has 15 rooms, and we have booked 13 of them.
Thus bringing to fruition one of my dreams, which is taking over a hotel.
Yeah, and we're doing that on the way to the other thing that we wanted to do. So we booked the hotel because we wanted to get together, everybody in Manchester, have a drink or two, have a sleep, and then drive everyone together out to Trevor Hall. And that way, all you have to do is get yourself to Manchester, and we'll take care of the rest of the weekend. And getting to Manchester shouldn't be too hard. Manchester is the third largest city in the UK. It has a popular airport. If you're in the US, there are direct flights from at least 10 cities from Boston to LA. Oh, I almost forgot. Thursday night, we're going to have a book exchange. You are going to get to know other people through the books they love.
Okay, so that's day one.
Yeah.
Friday morning, we get up from our cozy beds in the boutique hotel, and we have a proper English fry-up in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Sausages, eggs, bacon, toast, coffee, tea, all the good stuff you need to start your day. There will also be vegetarian options.
Sure.
Then we load everyone and their stuff onto a bus. It doesn't feel right to call it a bus. It's a cute little motor coach with reclining leather seats and tea service.
Yeah, that sounds made up. I thought it was made up when they told me about it. It is not. The bus has leather seats, and we can make tea as we go along.
So we chose Manchester for reasons. First, it has easy access to the Manor House. But also, Manchester is a UNESCO City of Literature. The oldest library in England is in Manchester. It's called Chetham's. It's been there for more than 350 years. And Manchester has a long literary history. One of the historical sites is the Elizabeth Gaskell House. Gaskell was an author herself. You might know her books North and South and Mary Barton, but she's probably best known as the biographer of Charlotte Brontë, who, as we know, wrote Jane Eyre. So when we leave the pub on Friday morning, we're going to take a ride over to the Elizabeth Gaskell House.
Now, for most people, including the locals, the people of Manchester, this would be a big mistake doing that. Why is that? Because the Elizabeth Gaskell House is closed on Fridays, but it's open for us. They're going to open the house for us for just a few hours.
And we're going there for two reasons. First, it's a Victorian-era villa that belonged to a famous author. So that seemed like a good thing to do on a Manor House Readers Weekend.
And they let you touch stuff.
They do.
You can sit in the Victorian chairs and ring the doorbell that Charlotte Brontë rang and that kind of thing.
And the second reason we're going there is cake.
Yeah.
They have a tea room, and our private tour ends with tea and cake in the tea room.
Yeah. Okay. Then we're back on the fancy tea bus, and we're off to Trevor Hall. That ride takes about an hour and a half or so. Then we arrive mid-afternoon. We're going to show you around the house. We'll see the beautiful rooms. We'll stroll the garden. And then cocktail hour.
So civilized.
Do you want to tell them about the caterer?
I do. I'm very excited about the caterer. Our catering team is headed by a local family, Christopher and Amy Yap. We wanted the weekend to feel a little posh, but also cozy.
Yeah.
So we asked them to do two things. We asked them to give us a traditional Manor House menu, but updated for modern eaters.
Sure.
And we asked them to share their favorite Welsh foods with us.
Yeah. And they delivered.
They really did.
We will be eating some wonderful traditional local dishes that weekend. And a lot of the ingredients will be locally sourced. So there's salted butter and honey and produce from local farms, that kind of thing.
So Friday afternoon, when we arrive, cocktails and canapes on the ground floor. There's a selection of drinks, but the one that really caught my eye is Chris's Gin Fizz, which he makes with his homemade damson gin.
Yeah, he's breaking out his personal hooch stash for us.
And there's a wide selection of nibbles. There's cheesy Welsh rarebit and sausage rolls and lamb lollipops and other delicious stuff.
And then after that, we might play some kind of game, or we might just talk amongst ourselves. And then dinner's served. So the main is a beefsteak in red wine with smoked bacon, shallots, and mushrooms. And as delicious as that sounds, I'm more excited about the dessert because I'm sugar motivated.
Of course you're more excited about the dessert.
Mm-hmm. Chris writes, Welsh autumn fruit with mixed berry crumble served with vanilla ice cream drizzled with Welsh honey. Come on.
Every time I saw Welsh honey or Welsh butter on the menu, I got really excited.
Yeah.
That night, after dinner, you might play games in the billiard room. You can watch a movie in the drawing room. I will be hosting a viewing of Gosford Park. You could stroll through the gardens. I mean, what could possibly go wrong taking an evening stroll in the gardens? Or you can just go into your private chamber and read. You get to do whatever you like after dinner because you are the lord or lady of the manor.
Yeah. Okay, so then it's Saturday, day 3. We're really settling in now.
We're going to start the day with an optional walk through the nearby morning woods.
Yep.
Maybe you'd prefer to have a little bit of a lie-in.
Have a little herkle-darkle.
After that, we'll enjoy our first breakfast in Trevor Hall. It's traditional for breakfast at a manor house to be a buffet.
Yes, because a gentleman or lady is never served at breakfast.
Correct. I have ideas about the breakfast sandwich known as the buddy. It's delicious, fluffy or toasty bread with butter, and then there's some bacon or sausage and egg slapped in there with some HP brown sauce. And when I told Chris that that's what I wanted for breakfast, he took that idea and ran with it. So we have a breakfast bar to make all kinds of buddy sandwiches and waffles and fresh fruit.
If you're brave, there's also traditional black pudding.
Yum.
And then we are on to a book club. Sometime in the next few weeks, we're going to meet on Zoom and we'll pick out a book when we're together, and then we'll talk about it at the house. And then after the book club, a little bit of free time, and then tea.
We're going to have a proper afternoon tea at the manor with finger sandwiches and scones and little cakes, Welsh bara brith with salted butter, sparkling wine. Very exciting.
So then you'll have a few hours to enjoy the house or the company or a nice nap or some of all of that. And then dinner arrives. Again, at the long table, we'll have a 6-course meal. Starters will be salmon and freshly baked bread. The main is a roast rump of lamb or chicken, if you'd prefer. There will also be vegetarian options.
The vegetarian option is pretty sexy. It's a lentil Wellington.
Oh, yeah.
Which looks so good.
You thought you might go for that.
I'm really torn. We'll see what happens.
And then, as Christopher describes it, quote, secret recipe sticky toffee pudding with toffee sauce and whiskey custard, followed by tea and coffee.
What's happening after dinner is one of the things I'm most excited about. That is the magician, Christopher Hall, who's coming in from London to do the seance show. I'm really excited to see it. There's a fantastic video that's just like a little vibe video of what the seance is like. We'll put that on our website so you can see it. And I realize that I'm a big talker. And I know it's going to be eerie fun, but I'm also curious to see if I sleep a wink that night. I guess we can all stay up late together for a little while.
That night we are also having storytelling. So if you prefer, you can avoid the whole Christopher Howell situation as you wish. It's up to you.
Storytelling in the music room.
Yeah.
By candlelight.
Yeah.
Welsh folklore.
Yeah.
Golden Age crime stories.
Day 4. Sunday starts with another optional walk.
This time we're heading into the Llangollen Canal.
And then breakfast is on. We'll have a full English, this time with warm Welsh cakes. I've never had them, but I understand they're somewhere between a scone and a thick pancake. Maybe an English muffin with a bit of sweetness.
When they're warm, they get sprinkled with sugar.
Mm.
That's a nice detail. We're also having bubble and squeak that day.
What is bubble and squeak?
It's potatoes mixed with some kind of green vegetable, often cabbage, and made into kind of like crispy little patties. It's sort of like a British take on hash browns, maybe,
Okay.
but with some vegetables.
And we will, of course, have all the other traditional breakfast stuff if you're not feeling super adventurous. And then we're going to take some pictures. We're going to pose for a Victorian-style group photo on the lawn. And then after a fond farewell, we'll put you on the fancy T-bus back to Manchester, where we can drop you at the train station or the airport as you'd like. Now might be a good time to mention that Manchester is worth exploring, but you're also a short train ride from London or Oxford if you want to make a more extended trip, either after or before the weekend.
I would also encourage you to consider spending more time in Wales.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
When we went to see the house, I was blown away by how beautiful that area is. It's just kind of wild, woolly, rolling hills and rivers and waterfalls and 13th century castle ruins. There's a lot of fun to be had there, and you can extend your stay by staying in Llangollen or exploring more of North Wales.
Yeah, that area seems to pull in visitors from all over the United Kingdom for obvious reasons. It's just lovely, and it's a great place to be outside.
Main Street in Llangollen is just like a little miniature tourist town with gift shops and cafes, a really great hamburger restaurant, and it's all perched on the River Dee. So there's the sound of water running in the background the whole time. It's really lovely.
Yeah, if the water's low enough, you can sort of walk across there's stones that cross the Dee.
The Victoria Promenade.
Yeah. So there's all of that. Now, what are we talking about with this Reader's Weekend? There are 3 nights of accommodations, 1 at the inn in Manchester and 2 in Trevor Hall. There's transportation back and forth from Manchester to the house. There are meals from breakfast on Friday to breakfast on Sunday. There are drinks. There's entertainment, the private tour, the seance show, storytelling. We are taking care of tips. We're going to do a little photography for you. We're going to send you the book for the book club. We're going to have pre-trip events to get everybody together. And we've got a couple other surprises that we think you are going to enjoy.
Basically, the only thing we're not taking care of is getting you to Manchester.
Right.
That's on you, friends.
So, how much might that all cost? If you have shopped for similar events, so all-inclusive travel packages like that, you might be thinking $2,500, $3,000, and it is not that. It is not $2,000. It is $1,850, $1,850 with double occupancy.
And if that number makes you feel a little uncomfortable thinking about paying it all at one time, we have payment plans.
Yep.
So you can secure your spot for the weekend for a $350 deposit and then make 3 more payments 2 months apart.
And if you let us know if you're traveling solo, we can pair you up with a roommate. If you prefer single occupancy, we can do that, but there's an additional charge. So that's a solid price for a once-in-a-lifetime weekend that you literally can't do on your own, with great food and great company.
Okay, let's talk about dates.
Yes, we are doing this event the whole weekend twice, 2 times. We've got one weekend that starts Thursday, October 9th, and that runs until Sunday, October 12th. And then we're going to do the whole thing one more time, 1 week later, beginning on Thursday, October 16th, and ending on Sunday, October 19th.
And here's something to keep in mind. Each weekend has only 20 spots.
Yeah, so we're looking for 40 people total. We expect that this is going to sell out quickly. Tickets go on sale the week of January 20th. If you're listening to this on release day, that's next week. And it's going to work like this. On Tuesday, the 21st, we're opening ticket sales to our top tier patrons. And then on Thursday, the 23rd, tickets are available for the rest of our patrons. And then on Friday, the 24th, tickets are available to everybody.
So this is a question that might be coming up.
Yeah.
Do you get to jump the line if you sign up to be a patron today?
You do, yes. If you join our Patreon today, then you can take advantage of the earlier dates next week. Suppose that you have any questions, or you're looking for additional information, or you want to share this information with somebody else. You are in luck. We've got a page that is loaded with everything we just said and a whole lot more. That page is at strongsenseofplace.com/weekend.
A really important thing to know about that page is that it is loaded with photographs of the house, of Llangollen, of the hotel where we're staying in Manchester. If you think this sounds like fun, when you see those photos, your heart is just going to soar. We would also just love to hear from you. We've been working on this thing for the better part of a year, and we are eager to hear what you think of it. We are so excited.
Yeah.
You can send us email, as always, at dave@strongsenseofplace.com or mel@strongsenseofplace.com. Send us your thoughts, send us questions, whatever you got.
Also, if you want to be notified the minute tickets go on sale, join our free Substack newsletter. You can get there by heading over to strongsenseofplace.com/signup.
So one more time, the info page is at strongsenseofplace.com/weekend. And the newsletter is at strongsenseofplace.com/signup. sign up.
Yes, and we are happy to answer any questions at Dave or Mel at strongsenseofplace.com. We are going to try to get back to you within 24 hours or so.
I think that's everything.
So we are so wound up about this. It is going to be a fantastic weekend. Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you in Wales in October.